happens when you unleash the power of the P? Powerful moments happen. Now, get your minds out of the gutter, because that's not the P I'm talking about. Although it is pretty powerful. But I digress. Let me tell you what I mean. Did you know the letter P actually has meaning? Yeah. It represents the number 7. Now, if you are a biblical scholar or a numerologist, then you know 7 means completion. But the letter P also represents spiritual knowledge, wisdom, independence, and family. All powerful entities by themselves. Now, I want you to ponder and project over the P words you'll hear over the course of the next few minutes. There I was, standing side by side with Steve Harvey on Family Feud. I'm in the fast money round, and the clock is set with 25 seconds. He asked, "Are you ready? Let's do this." Okay, we surveyed 100 men. Name a part of your body that's bigger than it was at the age of 16. And I instinctively said, penis. There was an awkward silence over the studio, much like it is right now. And at the corner of my eye, with the clock still ticking, I see the king of comedy slowly falling to his knees. The audience erupted in laughter, and I'm thinking, that was a pretty good answer. I know you're wondering, how many points did I get? 0. It didn't even make the board. Really? Because I'm thinking, what 100 men did they survey? Because they lied. I'm just saying. I'm thinking, wow, this was an epic TV moment that went viral on YouTube. But what Steve Harvey and everyone else watching didn't know is that my life had been riddled with P words that didn't go viral on YouTube. There was a backstory pushing me to that moment that I believed would change my life. You see, as a broadcast news anchor, I built my entire career using the power of my voice. 2004, at the age of 39, as I was preparing for an early morning newscast. It was lights, camera, but no action. To coin a quote from Chris Tucker in Rush Hour, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" No, they didn't, because the words coming out of my mouth were slurred and unrecognizable. The one tool I used to make my living was suddenly ineffective. Wow. Instead of reporting the news, I became the news story. Headlines: morning news anchor Secily Wilson suffers stroke on air. Wow. This was not a part of my plan. I had to fight to regain my broadcast quality voice. This was a moment where I thought about the facts. The number 1 killer of women and the leading cause of death for Black women is heart disease and stroke. That was the kryptonite that almost silenced me. Subsequently, the marriage to my college sweetheart, the father of my children, the man I was living my forever with, ended in divorce. What's happening? I didn't think I could take much more. Shortly after the divorce, my career ended. My contract wasn't renewed. This was a bad dream, and I was just hoping that I would suddenly wake up and it would all be over. But it wasn't. My home was facing foreclosure. My life had fallen completely apart. Now, I know I'm not the only one standing here whose life has fallen apart. It may be falling apart just as we speak. But there's a P word that plays a major role in adversity. And although there is a negative connotation to this word, there's also a positive. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is P, A to the I-N, pain. Pain. It's a powerful, powerful feeling if you don't shift your perspective. And I have a personal, deeply personal relationship with pain. Are there any divorcees in the house? Great. Then you can relate to this. You know that final moment is coming, but you're never fully prepared for when it arrives. Here's what I mean. The moment the movers arrived at my home to divide our marital possessions, that thing hit me like a tsunami, delivering a wave of devastation and destruction in my life. I was gasping for breath. That's when I leaned on the power of prayer to carry me through one of the darkest moments of my life. With tears streaming down my face and guttural sobs, I managed to muster up enough energy to say barely above a whisper, I walk by faith, not by sight. I walk by faith, not by sight. I knew the finality of the outcome this day would bring. It was like I was free falling and I couldn't grab anything to hold on to. I didn't know what the next step would be, but I knew I had to put one foot in front of the other to live a life of purpose. And through it all, I'm thinking, wow, this was not in my cards. Now, this might be the ultimate P word, pandemic. The pandemic of 2020. No one has been able to escape the wrath of this faceless enemy. So imagine this. One day, you're an accomplished professional, living your best life. And then the next day, you're driving Uber. Can y'all see that? Because I didn't. The pandemic brought the next wave of pain into my life. I was on the verge of losing Secily again. I lost my home again. I had to find a new job again. Now, Secily Wilson, veteran broadcast news anchor, driving Uber. There's a big difference between driving the news and driving passengers. But I was blooming where I was planted. Think about this. This is an opportunity for me to show up. And every time I got behind the wheel of that car, I was camera ready. Passengers actually thought they were being punked because they were expecting a camera to pop out of nowhere. But this wasn't a reality show. This was the reality of my life. In fact, I was riding with resumes in my car just in case. The passenger riding in the back seat was my next prayer, my next blessing, the answer that I was looking for. So maybe you are struggled with that pain and you're going through the process wondering when your time is next. I was on the verge of right there on the edge, trying not to lose my head. But I'm telling you, don't lose your head. Stay focused and go through the process. Because in the process is where you find your purpose. The first time I lost everything, I'm reminded about one of my favorite quotes from Gandhi. And it says, in order to find yourself, you have to lose yourself in the service of others. And I remember having a pity party and whining about all the things that I lost and I didn't have. And I'm talking to a friend of mine and she says, shut up and quit your whining. Go find a group of women facing life adversity and give them all the things that you say you have nowhere to put. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, because I thought my purpose was to land a seat on the anchor desk of Good Morning America, right next to Robin Roberts. I can see it now. But how did that work out for me? Professionally, not so much. But philanthropically, I gained plenty. As a result of purging all of the clothes and the shoes that I had left that I thought was insignificant and invaluable, I created a nonprofit, Wild Legacy Group, Women Overcoming with Willpower, for women facing life adversity just like I was. And what I thought was insignificant and invaluable turned out to be the purpose that was right in front of me. So maybe you are blinded by the pain and you can't see the purpose that's right in front. Pause, plan, and pivot. Now, you may think that this story has a happy ending. It's still being written. It's a work in progress. And in the meantime, I'm blooming where I'm planted, in my one-bedroom garage apartment, reinventing Secily Wilson. Is that your story? I'm going to ask you, how are you reinventing yourself? Are you whining or are you grinding? Are you blooming or are you burying? Take whatever you have left, that insignificant pebble, add to it, multiply it, smack it, flip it, rub it down. Oh no! Do whatever you need to do to make that thing great. And remember, there's no room for pride. Give yourself time to become transparent and vulnerable. Because when you become vulnerable, you're not showing a weakness. You're showing strength. And then others will be able to see themselves in you and become empowered. Now, what I've learned is that what I'm going through, it's not for me at all. It's for me to reach back and help someone else. It's for you. So when life adversity shows up, you can always unleash the power of the P. Any P word will do. That's up to you. Now, in the beginning, I said 7 represents completion. So let me complete this by giving you 7 ways you can leverage that power. 1, remember, pain can push you into your passion and your purpose. 2, don't discount the pain because it's a part of the process. Go through it. 3, have a plan that's clear, concise, and something you will commit to. 4, pivot. Plant that foot and pivot to avoid the obstacles that are in your path, preventing you from reaching your goal. 5, this is one of my favorites. Surround yourself with a posse that will support you and hold you accountable. 6 principles. Stay true to them. And do not, let me repeat, do not compromise. And 7, collectively, pursue, persist, and persevere. Perseverance is synonymous with unstoppable. If you do not quit, you cannot be defeated. These principles will help you to unleash the power of the P.